What's up, guys? It's Jensen and welcome to another video. So, finally NFL Divisional playoff weekend, and there are three great matchups during this NFL Divisional playoff weekend. But there's one match that I really feel like it's not going to be close, and that's when Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans head to Kansas City to play Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Guys, this is going to be absolute domination, I think, by the Chiefs. It's going to be really hard for the Texans to pull out a win at Arrowhead, because when I compare these two rosters, really, other than running back and linebackers, I really do think that the Chiefs have the better roster virtually at every other position, including head coaching. So it's going to be impossible almost for the Texans to pull off a win, but they do have Deshaun Watson, so you can't count out the Houston Texans out of this game. But let's just look at the Texans offense to start. I really was impressed with Deshaun Watson and what he did last week against the Bills. That was so impressive by him, especially when you look at the Buffalo Bills. They really did play the better game. They had the better roster. They played better than the Texans. But when you have a guy like Deshaun Watson, sometimes that just doesn't matter. Sometimes he can just defy logic by making crazy plays, and that's what we saw last week. Deshaun Watson came up big when he needed to, and that's the reason why you can't count him out even when they headed to Arrowhead to play Mahomes and the Chiefs. But he's going to need a lot of help from his supporting cast. Obviously, DeAndre Hopkins going to have to show up. Will Fuller finally coming back. He's going to have to be the deep threat. Kenny Stills was my X factor last week. I think he's going to need to make a couple catches as well. And then Carlos Hyde and Duke Johnson. I wasn't really impressed with this running back duo during the regular season. Yes, they put up good stats, but they don't really scare defenses in my opinion. But nevertheless, they're going to have to show up, especially Duke Johnson, who has explosive playmaking ability out of the backfield. I especially look at Duke Johnson. He's going to have to make some big plays. But the X factor is definitely going to be Darren Fells. I mean, this guy, he's a 6'7" tight end, and I was very impressed with what he did last week. You can see a lot of potential. He has a ton of physical tools. This guy was a former basketball player, which many tight ends like Antonio Gates, among others, they were former basketball players before they came into the NFL. So I think that he has an intriguing skill set, a lot of interesting physical tools. But at the same time, you can tell that he's pretty new to the game of football, so he's still learning a little bit. But I think he's going to have to show up big, because we know Hopkins is going to show up for sure. And then Will Fuller, he's on and off, but I expected a good game from him. Even against the Chiefs defense that had, since week 11, they've allowed the least amount of points in the NFL, only 11.5 per game. That's why you need Darren Fells to be the short target as well as a red zone target. I'm really intrigued by his physical skill set. I think he's going to need to get close to 100 receiving yards if the Texans want to have a chance in this game. Because when I look at the Chiefs defense, man, that is a legitimate defense. They're coming together. Even when they struggled a little bit early on in the season, I still believed in this defense, because I really feel like in critical situations they make the big plays. I remember when they played the Chargers and in Mexico City, and then Phillip Rivers was driving the team down the field, but then the Chiefs came up with a game-winning interception in the red zone. And then Tom Brady and the Patriots on 4th down, they looked like they were about to score a touchdown in the red zone, but then the Chiefs got the deflection and they got the win. So I really feel like this defense shows up when it counts. And you look at that defensive line with Chris Jones and Frank Clark. That is a stout defensive line, especially with Frank Clark. He's finally getting comfortable there. So especially against the Houston Texans offensive line, which is less than stellar, you're going to need a guy like Darren Fells to really show up and play well. And you look at that secondary for Kansas City, they're pretty underrated. I mean, Tyrann Mathieu is still one of the best safeties in the NFL. Bashaud Breeland has been really good this year. I don't think we've talked enough about his performance, especially considering last year how bad the Chiefs secondary was. We need to give credit where credit is due. This is a legit defense in my opinion. And the linebacking core is solid too. This is a really good defense. So if you're Deshaun Watson, I think Deshaun Watson is going to really have to come up with his best game of the year. This is a really good defense, and they're playing well, and they've been essentially the best defense since week 11. That can't be understated. for the past 6 weeks of the regular season, they've been the best defense. So Deshaun Watson, he's going to have to come up with more magic if the Texans want to advance. But I ultimately think that it's not going to matter, because you look at the Chiefs offense versus the Texans defense, that's a mismatch, guys. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, this guy was a league MVP last year, and I know people are really loving what they're seeing from Lamar Jackson, but let's not forget that Patrick Mahomes, even though he's injured this year, he is the reigning MVP, and I still think he is the best quarterback in the world right now. So Patrick Mahomes is still a baller. We have to realize that. And you look at that Texan secondary, it's pretty bad, guys. I mean, Jonathan Joseph is essentially their lead cornerback, and it feels like he's been in the league for forever. And you take into account the Chiefs have guys like Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Sammy Watkins. Man, the Texans might get burned up. I think if you're the Texans, the key is definitely that you're going to have to take away Tyreek Hill, because the big plays he can create, that can just instantly end your chances. If Tyreek Hill gets a 50-yard touchdown, that's really deflating for a defense and for the team as a whole. I think that's why Travis Kelce is going to really dominate in this game, because they're going to want to take away Tyreek Hill. Even though the Texans don't have the personnel, I imagine they're going to try and double-team Tyreek Hill. That's where the X factor for the Chiefs becomes Mecole Hardman. This guy really is technically Tyreek Hill. Maybe not as fast, but he has some explosive playmaking ability. I really haven't been impressed with Sammy Watkins this year. It's been more of a down year for Watkins, other than that huge game he had during week 1. But when we look at Mecole Hardman, this guy's been making plays all year. He has unique explosive ability. It's pretty funny how the Chiefs end up finding all these guys. I mean, this guy truly is a baller. I think that he's going to be a great wide receiver one day next to Tyreek Hill. But he's going to have to make plays, because if I'm the Texans defense, I'm going to try and contain Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. That's why I think that Mecole Hardman's going to have a lot of big plays, a lot of one-on-one coverage. That means that Mecole Hardman's going to have to use his explosive ability to get touchdowns. And if they do that, Kansas City might run away with it. I think another important thing for Kansas City is that LaShawn McCoy, we know he has this fumbling problem every once in a while. You cannot afford a fumble if you're Kansas City, because I think that as long as they protect the ball, and I feel confident that Mahomes won't really turn over the ball, the Chiefs should really dominate on offense, because they're just simply better than this Texans defense. They're pretty vulnerable, Texans, all around, especially when you look at the defensive line. With J.J. Watt clearly not being 100%, it's going to be a field day for Mahomes and the Chiefs as long as they can protect the ball. That's all. If they turn over the ball a couple of times, though, and you let Deshaun Watson get a couple of good field position spots, then the Texans are going to have a chance. As long as the Chiefs play it safe, as long as they don't turn the ball over, they're going to have a great day, in my opinion. That's why I'm rolling with the Chiefs 38-20. Obviously, if you watch my video about why I thought the Chiefs would win the Super Bowl, you know that I'm a huge fan of this team and what they're doing. Mahomes is balling out, and I believe that he's going to show up in this playoff game. He's going to have a great day. I think he'll play so well that you're probably going to see Matt Moore towards the end of the game, because Chiefs will rest their starters. As for the Texans, I believe in Deshaun Watson. I just don't believe in the rest of that roster. I mean, it's just a flawed roster. They depend a lot on big plays. That's why they've been so inconsistent, because Deshaun Watson can't really carry the team every single week. When he does, it's something special to behold. But when he doesn't, you really do see why this Texans team isn't among the Super Bowl contenders. But we'll see how it goes. This will obviously set up a AFC Championship matchup between the Ravens and the Chiefs, which is certainly going to be interesting. But the Chiefs are well in it to win a Super Bowl, and they're my favorites right now until I see something different. Anyways, thanks for watching this video, guys. Please like and subscribe. We'll be providing more NFL and NBA hot takes as the season goes on, and have a good day.